part of what keeps people stuck is they have their own preconception of what they think recovery is and what their mind says recovery is. And they're trying to chase this mythological unicorn that often by chasing it, it actually, interestingly enough, makes you worse. All right. Hey, my friends, and welcome to this episode where we're going to talk about what real recovery from OCD and anxiety looks like. And I'm going to reference not only my own journey, but many stories of people I've worked with and walked alongside people on this path. And I want to talk about what recovery is. And I want to kind of frame it in a way that maybe you've never thought of to really help you understand what we're really doing, with this. Because I think part of what keeps people stuck is they have their own preconception of what they think recovery is and what their mind says recovery is. And they're trying to chase this mythological unicorn that often by chasing it, it actually, interestingly enough, makes you worse. And I'm going to go ahead and explain why that is. And from there, I want to kind of articulate how we actually live from a recovered state in life and what we need to do to really get ourselves to that place. So let's go ahead and before we dive in, I just want to introduce myself if I don't know you yet. My name is Matt Codde and I'm a licensed clinical social worker and the founder of Restored Minds. And if you could help our channel out, please, by liking, subscribing, and leaving a nice review on iTunes and Spotify, I would greatly appreciate it. It'll take a second and it does make a difference. So let's start by just diving into what is recovery. And this is all kind of tricky language, and so I want to really be intentional about how we talk about this today. So recovery is a loaded statement because it kind of implies that what we're experiencing is a disease and we're going to recover from it. Now, when you're stuck in the OCD and anxiety loop, it can create an immense amount of disorder in your life. Thoughts and feelings are not a disease. Thoughts and feelings are not a disorder. Thoughts and feelings are a normal human experience. What creates the disorder is our resistance to emotion, our resistance to thought, and that creates this immense amount of pressure in our system. And then we project the emotion into thought form and we engage in compulsions that validate it, and it creates this self-sustaining loop. So recovery is breaking out of the loop. Now, how do you break the loop? Breaking the loop involves removing all the compulsive behaviors, but really beyond that, breaking the loop is about becoming completely non-resistant. And so going through that kind of logic there, recovery is simply non-resistance. Recovery is one's ability as identifying as consciousness to truly be non-resistant to any emotion in the spectrum of experiences that we can have in our time on earth as humans. So that can start all the way at the bottom, of the lowest emotions we can experience, such as shame, guilt, right? Things like, again, apathy, depression, right? Fear, desire, anger, pride, moving up into higher emotional states and higher fields like courage, neutrality, acceptance, and love, and all of that, all bliss and peace and all of the things that are really, really high. Recovery is not getting to a high state. Recovery is really your ability to be able to confront and experience any emotional state in a non-resistant way so that you can actually experience it and let it run its course. See, as Jung famously pointed out, again, what you resist persists. And what OCD and anxiety is the chronic resistance of emotion, the chronic avoidance of emotion. A lot of times we're not only avoiding fear, but we avoid the emotions we believe that we could experience as well. So for instance, if someone's terrified of experiencing shame, then one of the lowest experiences that we can have, staying in fear makes sense because we're terrified of experiencing shame. In fact, a lot of what you actually fear has nothing to do with the projection in the mind of what the theme is, or even necessarily the fear itself, but a lot of what you think that theme would lead to, which is often an experience that would create an emotional experience that you don't think you can handle or you don't believe you can handle, hence why we stay in fear of it. So for instance, someone that says, hey man, I'm terrified that I might lose my job. And it's like, okay, well, why? Get another job. Well, no, because then I could lose income and then I would lose my house and then I would be homeless. And it's like, okay, well, like, is it really being homeless that you're afraid of? Or what are you actually, because it's like, okay, well, you're homeless, so we find a shelter to live in until we find a new place, or find a tent to go and just go camping for a few weeks while we figure this all out, And it's like, it's not being homeless that the person's really afraid of, but oftentimes what they think people will perceive them, as, or what they think people will judge them as, and the shame or the embarrassment or humiliation they may experience from that. So when you understand this loop comes back down to just essentially the chronic avoidance of emotion, the chronic escapism of emotion, then you begin to understand that resistance is really kind of the epicenter of this whole thing. We resist the thoughts, we resist the feelings, and because we resist, it builds pressure, and then we engage in compulsions, and this loop forms. And recovery is not the absence of the emotion, it's the absence of resistance. It's you developing the courage, the competency, and the confidence to actually experience these different emotional states without suppression, without repression, without avoidance, without having to express and verbalize. And, it's really like, can you actually experience it? And when you lose your fear of emotion by learning how to confront it, learning how to release it, your fear of life begins to start to evaporate. And what happens is that you start to ascend in states of consciousness. And so as you start to move to higher and higher planes of consciousness, the world that you see just looks entirely different. Because when you're in the state of fear, you have these fear goggles on. It's like you have this lens that you see the world through, and everything looks scary, right? In fear, every single aspect of life is potential danger. Every person you see is a potential person that's going to rob you. God is this terrifying being that's going to condemn you, right? Your boss is the person that can just completely destroy your life, right? Everything is in this context of a threat. And that's not because it actually is, it's because that's how you're seeing the world in that state. And what living in fear is just suffering. It's just endless suffering. And I've been there. I know this because I've lived it. Everything in life is a struggle. Everything feels hard. Everything feels challenging. It's not because it is, it's because that's the perception in that lens. What recovery is when you begin to get out of that energy field of fear, you begin to get those glasses off. And you start to move into higher planes of existence, right? So things like neutrality, courage, right? Or probably where the energy begins to get positive. The way that you see what you once saw just changes entirely. So if you saw it in the fear lens and you see it in a acceptance lens, the way you perceive your quote unquote trigger just is entirely different. Not because the trigger is different, it's your entire experience changes. And we know this because you can look at things that used to trigger you in the past or things you used to be afraid of in the past. And when you look at them now, you see them and you feel neutral to them. They're not charged with the field of fear. And that's what things look like. That's what they've always looked like. It's just your own distortion is projected onto it. So when we're talking about recovery, it's not linear. This is where a lot of people go wrong when it comes to OCD and anxiety is they see recovery as like a beginning and end path. Okay, well, I had this onset, this huge blow up, this panic attack happened, the first intrusive thought happened, or, it kind of, this symptom started activating or whatever happened, right? And since then I've been spiraling, and recovery is this futuristic date where I'm no longer spiraling. And what they try to do is do ERP from the theme perspective, right? Or they try to use, I'm going to try to accept this even though they're already operating from resistance. And this is the trap that a lot of people get in with acceptance commitment therapy, is that they think of acceptance in the term of like an action or like a verb. So they try to like integrate it as like an act they do, right? But acceptance is a very high field. And when you're in a state of acceptance, it's the opposite of non-resistance. And this is why it's the opposite of resistance. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. And this is why it's a state. And so when people try to implement act from a place of resistance, they already aren't doing it. Like it's already like, it's such a paradox when people say that, because it's like you can't force acceptance from a place of resistance. Moreover, when people do ERP and they learn about ERP, and I, hear these things on these forums or emails that are sent to me, and it's just like, what most people think about ERP is just entirely wrong. It literally, it's like the main thought on ERP that we're going to do these exposures to these external things, and that's what's going to get you better, implies the idea that the external thing is the cause of fear to begin with. And what happens is at best case scenario with that path, you desensitize to that trigger because you just can't, you habituate to it, right? You desensitize to the trigger itself or the theme itself. And then because you never really confronted fear and what's really driving your fear, right? The personas, the core beliefs, the emotional wounds underneath it, what happens is that the projection just changed and you switch themes. And this is what leads people to perpetuate the false belief that OCD is this chronic condition that you're just going to have the rest of your life, or that anxiety is a chronic condition. It's like, when we're just talking about fear, like when did fear become a condition? I just, and this is kind of why, from a mass standpoint, like I just kind of have distanced myself from what the quote like OCD realm or anxiety realm, because I just have seen it so differently now. See, when you look at OCD and anxiety and recovery, not from a linear path of past, now, future, of past, present, future, but you look at it as an ascension in consciousness, and it's a spiral up as opposed to a path existing in time space, you understand that when someone shifts their state entirely, the way they see everything changes. And all that ever exists is an ever evolving now. And there's not this futuristic version of yourself that all of a sudden doesn't have OCD, because if you're continuing to operate from the lens of fear, you'll just continue to bring that into every now. When you start working it from a spiral and vertical plane axis of, again, up and down, you start to realize that as you ascend in consciousness, as the future naturally unfolds, you're just going to have an entirely different experience. And this is what I've seen with virtually any theme you could imagine, right? Whether it's fears about harm, fears about sexuality, fears about, religious intrusive thoughts, scrupulosity, hit and run, contamination. I mean, retroactive jealousy, relationship OCD, health anxiety, right? It doesn't matter, right? It's all fear. It's fear. And when you really boil it down to the nuts and bolts, that's what's going on. When you really get honest about what's going on, if you're really transparent, it's, I feel afraid. Okay. And fear is something that we can overcome. Fear is something you can transcend. And that doesn't happen through the external, it happens internally. And it happens through truly learning to become non-resistant. And that's the whole idea of why I teach the AAA response, because the AAA response is designed to get you into a state of non-resistance. And hence, as a byproduct, when you remove the resistance, you begin to remove the compulsions as a byproduct of that, which dismantles the loop altogether and then allows for you to begin to, again, ascend in consciousness. If this doesn't land with you, that's okay. There's plenty of other ways of understanding this, but having navigated my own journey and walked, however many people now through this process, I'm confident and I believe in this process to the depths of my heart. And if this aligns with you and you want to learn more, you can check out my book. You can head over to restoredminds.com. We have some links down in the notes. You can start with a quiz, or we can start really teaching you how to do this. Because I think if you choose to believe that this is this chronic condition that you're going to have, well, if you really believe that, then that will be your reality. But if you believe that fear is normal, you believe that you're human, you believe you have a nervous system, you believe you can experience through emotion, and you believe you can ascend in consciousness, well, then you can. And you don't need to let anyone else put any kind of other belief in your realm if it doesn't serve you. So with that, that's my thoughts on recovery. And if it's helpful, which I hope it is, we have some additional resources in the notes, or you can head over to restoredminds.com and we can connect there to kind of further explore this path. So with that, wishing you all a great day and a great week, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Hey there, this is Matt Codde, and I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch that episode. And if you found it helpful, we have some other episodes available for you as well that we've linked here. And if you're looking for additional resources, I have links down in the notes, or you can head over to restoredminds.com/start to get started with some new free resources that we have available. Thanks so much, and look forward to seeing you soon.